Hello everyone and welcome to a game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Vector and he is in the Leningrad, a tier 7 Russian premium destroyer. He is on the map Trident and unfortunately it's a standard battle. But the good news is he is top tier and well, there is no radar around, there is a carrier 6. So yeah, he's got torps away against the New York. He's called the Red Carrot. Interesting. I would call carrots more orange, I suppose. Maybe it's a special carrot. So, and carrot apparently goes well with fish, and now it's even being roasted. Now, he didn't get a flooding, but he got fire, and it looks like damage con is... Well, maybe he just doesn't want damage con a single fire, which would make sense. So there you go. Lovely start. So far the enemy team has already lost one ship and there seem to be planes incoming. Now of course they are torpedo bombers, so nothing too scary for a destroyer. But getting spotted is never fun. Then again, there aren't too many ships here on this flank. It looks like the enemy team is heavily deploying on the other side. And the friendlies just took some casualties over there.
Дымогенератор запущен.
So he decides to smoke up here. I mean, he could just pew-pew the Leon a bit. This captain doesn't have advanced firing training. And I think he's only had like a 15-point captain. So his range is a bit more limited than you would expect from most Russian DDs, I suppose. Because, well, they are potent gunboats. But his fire RNG is certainly with him. He got one fire on the Leo. And well, the Leo isn't damage conning, which makes an awful lot of sense with one fire. Oh, there is the second fire. Are we going to see a damage con now? Not yet. Well, that's lovely. So it's, well, probably on cooldown, I assume. Most people, I think, would damage con 2 fires. The Leo is also called Killer Cat. Poor little cat. So, on a side note, the Ranger was, well, very early spotted behind this island right there. Do you think the Ranger is still there? I mean, it would rather be not very wise for a Ranger to be sitting there, but the planes are coming from this direction. I mean, let's just face it. The majority of the enemy team is on the other side, and this side is pushed by the friendly. And this isn't a recent development. You could have seen that coming, like, quite a while ago. So there is absolutely no reason for the carrier to be on this spot. You could say it would be a monumental error from the carrier to be in this spot. So what do you expect? Well, the carrier is trying to attack Leningrad with torp bombers that are not even like aimed. I guess he's found his rocket planes. Yeah. So, meanwhile, this game isn't looking too bad. The friendlies are, well, they are only one ship ahead so far, but I have a feeling that maybe, just maybe, the enemy team's carrier might not be alive for much longer. Now, those planes seem to be landing there awfully close on the other side of the island. Could it be that the enemy carrier just didn't move an inch? Even though he knew what was coming for a while. And only now he even started to defend himself with rocket planes. Oh, look at that, he is not even moving right now. Oh well, I mean, at this point we can only conclude the carrier actually won this. He felt so bad for playing carrier that he just really, inside, he just decided to be sunk by this destroyer. This is just his subconsciousness speaking here. Anyway, so the Ranger is no more, and that's good news for somebody who is in a destroyer now, isn't it? Because let's just face it, right? In the last 3 kilometers or so, the enemy carrier managed to take a big chunk out of the Leningrad. Just imagine the carrier would have attacked him when he was still, I don't know, a lot further away. Early on, when he spotted him, for example, with his torpedo bombers, and you know exactly where Leningrad was, and that it was coming his way. But, you know, It's just how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. Anyway. So Vector here is making his way towards the enemy camp. The enemy team kind of won the right flank, but the friendlies are moving in now from the left. And, you know, it's actually even ship-wise, although the enemy, well, you could argue that the enemy are behind because they lost the carrier. But, I mean, it could swing back rather easily. The enemy team has 2 destroyers there that are more than capable of torpedoing the incoming battleships. There is no real spotting for those guys, although the planes might be on the way to do that. We have a friendly Sarah who... Is this the guy disconnected AFK? It's a bit weird positioning for a Sarah, isn't it?
Дымогенератор запущен.
Meanwhile, Vector has arrived in the camp and he's found his next victim, Trento. And he does what Russians do best, he's just starting to pew-pew, although that Trento is trying to disappear into smoke. Now, what's the smoke fire penalty of a Trento? Yeah, I guess it's not that great, you know. So, Leningrad is close enough to just spot the Trento. And that is bad news for Trento, who is absolutely broadside to Leningrad and is even eating a citadel there. And it looks like the Uber managed to finish off said Trento. Now still equal on ships, by the way, and could still go either way. Now the friendly carrier seems to be aware that there are destroyers coming for him, and he's actually trying to attack them. Quite successful, it looks like. So we still have Ignition now here running interference, that Sarah still hasn't moved, so I assume that it is AFK. So let's see what's going to happen here next. Now the carrier is probably focusing on the Icarus, and well, Vector here, you could just try to camp. With the enemy team no longer in possession of a carrier, and the Icarus probably out of position, they have very, well, they don't really have the tools to detect him here, although they can just sail in here and contest the camp. And I mean, the York the Furutaka might have Hydro, so he has to be careful that he isn't getting pushed by them. So we will see. Actually, you know what? The enemy in New Mexico hasn't really moved an awful lot so far. I mean, it might be that that guy is AFK too. So I guess each team has one ship that just isn't doing anything. So there is that. Ops are going for the Furutaka. Will they hit? Looks good.
Крейсер противника уничтожен.
There you go. Now the enemy team is coming back to defend, which means, I mean, Vector didn't end to win by camping anyway, I suppose, and it's not looking too bad ship-wise. So there is no reason to take any risks, he can just leave that camp, stay a little bit outside here, and torpedo. Might also be waiting like for his smoke screen to be ready again. Here's one more smoke, and there are definitely targets that he could pew-pew. He could try open water gunboating, but I mean, it's a bit risky. Those ships could easily just hit him rather heavily, I suppose. Because he can't pew-pew from that far away. Now the friendly carrier is still hunting down this Icarus, which is pretty nice, and is definitely a winning move for the friendlies. Now torps are ready again, they are away against the Ignition now, and at this point, well, I mean, if he smokes right here, then he's giving away his position, and that means that Ignition now might be more likely to dodge those torpedoes, so maybe he's just trying to reposition a little bit and then use his guns. Spotting wise, I think the friendly team is doing fine with. I mean, if the enemy fires, the battleships can do the spotting. Also, it looks like Vector wants to swing about his camera a lot, I'm not sure why. But he's managed to sail into the detection range of a York, he's deploying his smoke. I mean, it's a good time to smoke anyway. The Gneisenau. Well, I mean, the torps have reached the Gneisenau, so it's now the perfect time to just sit in smoke and farm this guy with guns.
Передаю координаты цели. Постановка дымов завершена.
There's a fire. There's a Confederate. So let's... I think this Gneisenau is just going to burn. Did he damage Con against the flooding earlier? Probably. Haven't actually paid attention if the torps was the flooding. But it looks like this is just one less Gneisenau. And that's kill number 3. Now, what's left is a York that decided, screw this, he's going to charge now. So the York is charging King George. And yeah, at this point there is no reason to not just shoot stuff. I mean, he can't be spotted because of the smoke, but even if he would, at this point it really doesn't matter. This York isn't going to carry this team to victory. The New Mexico looks to be AFK, so basically it's the York against, well, quite a few ships. Of course, that New Mexico is still a perfect opportunity to farm a little bit more damage, isn't it? And you know, let's just unlock the camera so you don't get vertigo and speed this up, because that York is getting farmed and now all that's left is the New Mexico, and well, he's shooting a stationary ship. So let's see, can he get the kill? Can he get the top? There's a fire, that's pretty nice, because obviously an AFK ship won't damage Con. And now everybody is just racing for who gets the kill. And those torps look pretty decent. So here we are with the results. Vector earned himself 1912 base experience. Nicely done. He also achieved Confederate, a devastating strike and a high caliber, scoring almost 158,000 points of damage. And yeah, I've also included the captain's skills, because he also sent them in. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.